Alright, I think this is it. There we go. Alright. What's up, everybody? This will be the last video in the PTR series. It's been about a month now. We're still waiting on the changes to the, the Carnival set. Just so you guys know before you don't panic, they're going to change the Carnival set from basically shooting out 23 fetishes shooting out darts to the closest 5 fetishes that you have will shoot darts. They're going to amplify that damage by 3.8. So basically whatever a normal fetish would do for a dart shot, times that by 3.8 for 5 fetishes. And the remaining 18 fetishes will just melee everything. Now, they haven't put this change out yet, but I can't keep waiting around to hold back the whole PTR guide just because they haven't updated or put that in yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update at a later point in time once they do release the Carnival set. And if it's something really radical or crazy, then I'll update the guide and put it in the section, because I'm pretty sure most of you guys a lot of people might come through my YouTube channel to see this guide. Some people might come through Reddit or Diablo fans where I want to have the PTR coverage for Witch Doctor. They might come through that guide and come check out this video. So that's basically what's going on. This video is going to be focusing on, I'm just going to do a little bit of a chat. I'm currently on my live Witch Doctor. I'm going to be grinding out some stuff today, see if I can get in top 100 just for fun. Solo. I don't think it'll happen. I think I better clear 50 though, but we'll see. Anyways, I digress. The way I see it right now, if things pan out, and this is assuming that Carnival is going to be okay after the change, the power ranking in terms of builds will be number 1, Carnival build, number 2, Helltooth with Gargantuan, then probably after that the next best thing will be Helltooth with Zombie Bears. People have already gotten the current iteration of Carnival to 67 non-seasons and 63 4-seasons. People have already gotten level 60 for both for the Helltooth Gargantuan build, and then about 59-60 for the Zombie Bear Helltooth build as well. Acquire said the highest I've ever seen is my own self, 55, but I heard some people ever get 56, 57, but pretty much Acquire said is 55. Jade said is about 55 if you push it. And that's just the current situation of the Witch Doctor gearing. Now, they still could change things for the Acquire set. I heard Helltooth was going to get another buff. And with the Carnival changes, I honestly think if the Carnival goes through okay, it's going to be Carnival and Helltooth are going to be top-end builds. One using Helltooth with Gargantuan, with Wrath of Protector. One using, of course, Carnival with all the changes with the Kanai Cube. Those are going to be the best options that we have. I have seen a good amount of Witch Doctors inside of the parties early on in the early points of the PTR using the Helltooth with Gargantuan because of damage amp and plus the necrosis of the that applies, which makes them take 15% more damage, and also using the Dead Wall, consuming spirits will make so the monster does less damage, and a big Gargantuan that crits up to 15 billion to 25 billion. Some people have just gotten really astronomical on the number hits. So for group purposes, I think Helltooth will beat out Carnival a little bit, but then again, some people actually do take Carnival for damage. Now the current meta right now is running Barbarians and Monks in these groups for 2s, 3s, and 4 people teams. I don't think that's going to actually stay. I think it's going to change because no one wants to see nothing but Barbarians and Monks in the top teams for everything, because that would be kind of silly. Now, if Blizzard does, so expect to see some changes and nerfs, or could be some people are exploiting some things we don't know. But basically, the overall feel of Witch Doctor, are we as strong as we were before? No. We got our Tickle and Visage build nerf and our Permastone build nerf, but just not us. Everybody who was doing any type of CC or heavy crowd control, it got changed, and it dramatically changed the group dynamic. As you can see, within a 4-person group with no perma CC, for the most part, oh, you know what, I'm looking on the wrong thing. I'm actually on live, so I can't show you guys, but on the PTR servers, people are not pushing this higher grade risk because there's no perma CC, and that's because there's no more perma crowd control. But I mean, that needed to go anyway and didn't need to stay like that. But I always said that if they got rid of that for Witch Doctor, because that made us viable for everything in groups, because you had to have a Witch Doctor to CC everything, they would need to buff our damage. Now, we got an indirect buff to the Kanai Cube, but they still got to do a couple more things to do and improve it. With the changes to the, with the changes to the Carnival build, we'll have to wait and see. But like I said, if everything works out the way it's supposed to, it should be Carnival, then Helltooth, then a Crier set, if everything works out the way it's supposed to. For 0 DPS and builds of that nature, they might be able to make some kind of Witch Doctor build, maybe utilizing like, bad medicine to make the monsters do less damage and that kind of effect, but there's not going to be anywhere near as good as it was before. So in terms of us being a 0 cooldown build and just basically being support, we're done. I think we might be able to pull a little bit of damage in parties, but that's if people want us. Hopefully they buff up the Hell 2 stuff so we can do a little bit higher. And just in general, this is I don't want to sound like, okay, let me say this. Regardless of what happens to Witch Doctor class, I'm still going to play it. I'm not going to quit the class. But in comparison, if we are, because I always tell people don't compare yourself to other classes, you'll make yourself crazy, but if we are pretty much the worst class in game again. And we had a long, good ride with the whole, stun lock dog build or the tickle and a visage build. But, those days are over. It's going to be really interesting to see what Blizzard does to the Witch Doctor. Like I said, we still got a couple more changes on PTR, so maybe they could just come out of nowhere and make our build real crazy, real solid. But, the only gripe that I have is that the only set that really plays different is the Acquire set. The Jade set still needs to be looked at, but the Helltooth and the Zunimasa, or the Helltooth and the Zunimasa with Carnivore are pretty much the same. Both of them have a pretty solid 2-piece. Both of their 4-piece sets provide you some type of toughness or survivability, and both of their 6-piece sets make it so that when you land a certain attack or do something, it makes your pets hit harder. So, through and through, Gargantuan is the same, or I'm sorry, the Helltooth with Gargantuan is exactly the same as a Carnival, except, Carnival has a little bit more AoE, but, it does the same exact thing. You're casting spells and abilities in order to amp up the damage of your pets, and then it has a built-in survival mechanic, which is usually the 4-piece set. They're pretty much identically the same. They're just dressed up in different packages, if you will. I would say, maybe like an orange and a grapefruit. Pretty similar, but they have enough differences where you can be like, okay, well, I guess that might be a bad analogy, but, you guys understand what I'm saying. I don't want to say it's apples and oranges. I think it's even more closely related than that. But just in general, the sets don't play that different. Jade and Arcars actually play very heavily different, but I guess when you look at it, you have 2 pet builds and 2 caster builds. Acquire set's more fun to play than Helltooth because that's just utilizing your Locust Swarm and you can combine it with Wormwood and some other cool stuff. I would just like to see the damage of that build go up. But a lot of the problems with all these sets is that they include all these different new abilities, like Helltooth have all these different spells you can use with that cause necrosis, and then you use it with the Wall of the Dead to amp up the damage of those abilities, but the only abilities that are worth their damn are Zombie Charger and the Gargantuan. So it's giving you the illusion of choice when you really don't have any choices, and even then you don't want to go with Zombie Bears. In my opinion, you probably want to go Gargantuan. So to be brutally honest, the Hell2 set is just basically you're going Gargantuan build with 0 cooldown like they did before, with the small man's finger and all that good stuff, and that's pretty much all you're going to do. That's the harsh reality behind Helltooth. My only question is, why make a set where you have all these different abilities that can work with it, but none of them perform good as, you're only going to be using, this one skill because it's just so damn strong in comparison. Carnival build, I think they should just leave alone and they shouldn't touch it. They say it's because they wanted to reduce the lag issue, which I understand, but a lot of other classes have lag issues with their skills. I don't think this is going to fix the problem if somebody has low-end computer and just a lot of particles and certain effects start going off. I know Blizzard and certain meteors and stuff like that used to lag me off the screen with Wizards even. So my greatest fear is that they're going to nerf, or indirectly nerf, or not intentionally nerf, but they're going to mess up the Carnival set, and then they're going to buff the Hell 2 set. And then the Hell 2 set's going to be like the #1 build, and everybody's going to be like, well, this is great, this build is awesome, but my question is instead of changing these builds, why don't we get all the builds to be up to a certain level? Maybe Carnival's always going to be the best, but at least we can get Jade up to 60 and at least get our cars up to 60. Because, they did the same thing before. I remember when the game first came out, what did we end up going? We ended up going the fetish build, and then we went into a fire dog build with a little bit of 0 cooldown with the Gargantuan, but mostly it was just, we went into the Tall Man's Finger with the fire dog, and that was around for a while. Then it was Tall Man's Finger with poison, and then we moved into the Jade build era. And you know, the thing is, they develop all these sets just to undermine themselves later on. Now, I'm not saying I'm trying to attack anybody, I'm just being honest. You make the Jade build, the premier build for Witch Doctor. You do all these changes, all these buffs, all these alterations of the code and calculations for the damage for the dots and everything like that. And they built this really solid build up really high, and it just kept going on further and further with all this new stuff and the Kanai's Cube, but it literally died over one patch because of Spirit Walk. Now, I know Spirit Walk was providing permanent immunity, but you'd figure somebody would have said, okay, well, since they can't rush in and harvest multiple times anymore, let's just amp up the damage times 4 and just then we'll adjust it to make it worthwhile. But they never did, so we had a #1 build, and then it just got killed within one patch. And before that, people were already starting to play Carnival, and they were getting into Carnival. That was the rising star. And then after that, Carnival is like, oh man, look at Carnival, this is the build. Everybody's running Carnival, right? But now, Helltooth comes along, and now it's like, the hell? Like, now Carnival's going to go through a change. Now, this change could be good. This change could make it better. This change could make it worse. But I'm kind of scared because when they changed the stuff with the Jade build, Jade went from being the overnight build to basically being horrible next time. And if the same thing happens with Carnival, then they happen above Helltooth. Now, Helltooth is going to be the new build that everybody goes to. And then what's going to happen next season? When Helltooth gets toned down, then our car set becomes the next big thing? I don't like it, and this is just my personal opinion, when they devote development time towards something just to undermine it later, and I don't know if that's intentional. I don't think it's intentional. I just think it happens, and they have to do certain things, and they have certain goals and ideas. But long story short, the meta for the Witch Doctor is not looking good for the next season. Carnival could end up make or break and being bad or terrible or being decent. Helltooth, I think, has potential. It's going to keep going upwards and doing well. Akaris, I think, has potential, and Jade needs to be looked at. We are the weakest class in the game right now, but like I always tell people, you don't judge yourself based on other classes. Don't try to compare yourself. Just enjoy the game. Have fun playing the Witch Doctor. There's a lot of new sets and stuff we can test out, and who knows, we might discover some new builds and stuff. But just in general, there's a lot of cool stuff for us to mess with. There's a lot of us to keep us busy for at least 2 to 3 months out the next season. There's a ton of new stuff. Ton of new builds I'd like to try, and I'm going to mess around with, but I just need access to the Kanai's Cube and crafting a bunch of stuff. So I think we have endless fun and versatility in our builds to a certain extent. A lot of that can be tweaked. But in terms of being one of those classes where it's just the top dog class for solo or even group, it's just we're not that. So if you just enjoy playing the Witch Doctor class and you're looking forward to new changes, you're gonna have a great time. If you're one of those guys that are looking at the Witch Doctor in comparison to other classes, or maybe just looking from what you guys used to be, what we used to be able to do, what we do now, I think people won't be that happy. I'm not asking for Witch Doctor to be best class in the game. My biggest thing, or my biggest seller point, we don't have to be the #1. We don't have to be the best in group. We don't have to be the best solo. But I just want to stop the development of these sets that end up being very good, or they devote a lot of time to, just for them to be nerfed or undermined later. That disturbs me the most. But, I mean, outside of all that, I have to say, I look forward to all the new changes. Like I like a lot of the new legendaries that are coming in. I like the Kanai's Cube. I'm going to be having a lot of fun for a while. But in the long scope of things, in terms of what keeps us playing the game after month 2, after a new patch drops out, the stuff that keeps us playing until the end of the season is really lackluster overall, at least for the Witch Doctor class. It will be an interesting next couple weeks. Blizzard will have to make their last big final changes to PTR because they got to get this patch out and rolling. So, my conclusion on the whole Witch Doctor meta, we have a lot of potential. We have a lot of interesting stuff to play around with, but we probably will end up being the weakest class in game if you care about that kind of stuff. I don't, but I know a lot of people do. Let's hope Blizzard does some nice updates in the next couple weeks, and by the end of August we'll know definitely that Witch Doctor is doing better, hopefully through some buffs and some improvements, and if not, we'll just have to ride out a whole season sucking. To be fair, we have been doing that 0 cooldown. We've been doing that perma-fear build for a minute now, so, I mean, it's just coming back to haunt us now, so. Anyways, man, I hope you guys like this video. Check out the Witch Doctor PTR coverage guide. I want to put it on Diablo Fans and also Reddit. So you guys can look forward to that. And then I'm done. The only thing I might do is go back and update when they do the Carnival build, but that'll be all my coverage for the Witch Doctor for PTR patch 2.3 in Season 4. And now I can actually get started on doing my 24-hour Witch Doctor guide up for Season 4, because let me tell you, that's going to be hella fun, because they changed the whole crafting system. And it's fantastic. And that's one thing I have to applaud Blizzard. I'll give y'all a little bit round of applause. Whoever handled the crafting system is a fucking genius. He did an excellent job, or he or she, because now the mats that you use at max level drop at low level, and they redid the cost for so much of the rerolls and stuff. So when you're leveling now, crafting actually can be a legitimate way to keep ensuring that you get all the items that you need. But that's neither here nor there. I hope you guys liked the video. Thank you for following me these last couple weeks while this covers with the Witch Doctor 2.3. We made it. We started from the bottom. Now we're here. We're finished. We're out. And the next thing you guys can start looking forward to is the 24-hour Witch Doctor build. I probably might also do some video recordings on PTR with the updates to Helltooth. Once the Helltooth gets locked down and we know what the end build of it is, I want to do an official guide for it, for the Helltooth, for the Carnival build, for the Jade build, for the Archer set, and then I want to do one for a Pet Melee build. And I'm going to put those up on Diablo fans and Reddit as well too, and utilize those so I can update my Witch Doctor Compendium for 2.3. And that's enough rambling from me. Thank you guys for all the support and always watching the videos. If you guys got any comments about what I said or how you guys feel about the Witch Doctor meta, make sure you guys like, subscribe. Well, hold on. We'll leave you all that stuff in the comment section. If you guys have any opinions, I will get back to you. I do reply to a lot of people. And make sure you guys like and subscribe. As always, I appreciate you guys watching my videos. I'm Debo, and I guess that's it for PTR 2.3. Later.